was a technical evangelist, and yeah, my name is, as I said earlier, is Aigars, and my surname is Macins. And I guess everyone has questioned what technical evangelists do and what technical evangelists are and what they are reading. So for that I have this special slide, and it actually depends from point of view, because it's all these things. And kind of rest of my company sees me more like just something mad and crazy, because I tend to use very kind of sophisticated words and different words like, I don't know, some geeky and nerdy stuff. And my family and my friends tend to kind of see me as a preacher, and because kind of it contains the word evangelist, and the word evangelist comes from religious word, where it means to spread a good word. And yeah, and but competitors sometimes kind of companies which are kind of competing against Microsoft in some cases see me as exorcist, because sometimes when I need to go to customers and they are very kind of passionate about what they are doing with their current technologies or services or whatever, and they are kind of unwilling to change that even for better or something different, because they are very kind of convinced that it's the best way. And it somehow reminds of some law, which is called law of hammer, which means that kind of when you have a hammer, you see everything as nails, and you need to hammer them down. And it means that when you learn one specific set of tools, it's very hard for you to switch to another set of tools or something different, because kind of you are accustomed to that, and you very enjoy and it's hard for you to learn new things in that sense. And for communities, technical evangelists are more like speakers who are telling about this kind of technologies and opportunities that they have, and how they should use that. And for students, we are more like teachers, because we kind of teach also and enable students to achieve most of their technical potential. And we have special programs to support that, and I'm going to talk about that in details later. And in reality, we are lifelong learners who need to learn on our own, and for us for whole life. Because as in all IT professions, you need to learn endlessly, and it never stops. It's it's a journey which you start at school, and you stop learning when you are there. So, and in the beginning, I was very lucky, because I will speak more from my kind of how I became developer, what I did as developer, and then I will turn kind of how I shaped me and so on, and what I did in my life to become evangelist at Microsoft. In the beginning, I was very lucky, because at school I got the programming lessons from 7th year, till all high school. So I was very lucky in that sense that I had the programming for 6 years at school before university. And also it was a very kind of competitive environment, in the sense that we also did these preparations for informatics Olympiad, which is algorithmic and very geeky stuff. And there's a nice website which states here Olymps, which is where you can find the tasks if you want to shape your algorithmic knowledge. And there you can upload, there you can code your small programs to solve these particular tasks, and then you can upload them, and they are automatically tested. So it's kind of very good opportunity kind of for everyone to try simple things. And there are also different levels of kind of hardness for each task. There are very simple, trivial tasks, and there are a bit harder ones. And the way how I got to Microsoft work is 6 years ago, or 7 years, I would say more, ago I participated in a Telecom IT Olympiad, which was kind of very different from classical informatics Olympiad. Because in classical Olympiad, you are asked to solve algorithmic problems, which show that you know special algorithms and so on. In this competition, you were given tasks which were sort of real life, and it was really cool, because these tasks were like, I don't know, create some website or enterprise solution where we can manage basketball team, or I don't know, or create some game like Sudoku or something like that. And this competition runs in two parts. First is qualifications, where you need to kind of create your own kind of solve specific sets of tasks, like 6 tasks, and you are in a team of 3 people. And then there's finals, best 6 teams in each kind of categories. There are 2 categories, students and pupils, and are selected for finals, and they do that on site for 2 days. Each day they have different set of tasks, and they need to solve them. And it was kind of really cool and very exciting, because there was also a lot of system analysis tasks, like where you need to go to sort of customer, and this customer kind of replies to your, gives you some feedback what he wants, and he acts like in real life. Kind of, he gives very shady things about what he wants and so on. So it was really fun and interesting. Yeah. And after that, I kind of went to university, and in university, I realized that kind of I need somehow to make my university life more interesting. And I joined a couple of student organizations. In the beginning, I joined the Student Self-Government, which is the first one picture. And through Student Self-Government, I somehow joined Macins Student Partners, because at my university, at that time, it was one of 3 or 2 universities where this program was active, and through that, yeah, I was able to join that. And also in my university, I was able to join one also international organization, which enabled me kind of way how to travel cheap and hang out with people from all around, in this case, Europe, and yeah. And I was on a couple of workshops through ESTEC organization, which is kind of organizations which gathers together all kind of electronic engineering students, which are basically electronic engineering, computer science, and kind of a bit math students. And so it's kind of very geeky environment in one sense. Another sense, it's kind of very nice and cool. Because yeah, you are together with like-minded people who are sort of, in the sense, the same geeks as you. Yeah. Yeah, from programming language perspectives, how many of you, this question actually I would like to no answer, see something familiar here? Because this is my first programming language, and it's how I begin my journey. It's QBasic. It's somehow funny, because the language is pretty old, I would say. It's definitely older than me, at least 1.5 times. So to be about 30, 40 years old. And yeah, this is how I learned, and I kind of, in the end, I got really sick of. And also at the end of 7th grade, we got a bit of Visual Basic. We were taught, but it's in a very shady manner. I don't remember this language at all now. Again, as time has passed, I have not used them and so on. And then for all these competitions and so on, I trained mostly on Pascal. Also, when I went to sports, this programming school, which is on previous slides, we also did kind of most of our tasks in Pascal language, and it's a kind of very cool language. Don't underestimate it, because kind of from learning perspective, it's perfect. If kind of anyone says that it's not good, then I don't know. They don't know anything. Because from basic perspective, when you need to write code and something basic things, it's a very kind of sort of, it's complete language. So, on the other hand, it doesn't teach you anything about object-oriented programming. And then in school at 10th grade, I started learning a bit C++, but yeah, it was not for long. So, and then was this first telecom at the Olympiad, and I switched to C#, which is too dark. Okay, but it's kind of, and it kind of all these development tools, which are screenshots from which are showing, are becoming more nicer and kind of familiar to use. Because in the beginning there was these DOS-like old school screens, and now they are looking. Okay, this is something in the middle, but now they are looking more kind of fancy and cooler to work with, and so. And then I switched to C#. Actually, I wrote my first C# code on finals of the Olympiad, and before that I didn't know what C# was. I just kind of started coding finals because before that I was doing qualification tasks using Delphi.net, which is somehow object-oriented Pascal. And I was the only one guy who did that in the qualifications, and they kind of said that it was a nightmare for them to debug this program, to test it, and to see how it works, because they didn't have experience with Delphi.net. So I switched to C#, and I don't regret that. So because I have kept it for all these 7 years as my main programming language. And 3 years ago, second year of my university, I joined Macins Student Partners community and movement. And during that, as Macins Student Partner, I was asked to create and deliver some technical or sort of technical presentations at the university. And we made some at the university where I study, Turkey Technical University in computer science faculty. And because of student partner program, I was able to travel without any costs to a couple of times abroad, and also meet a lot of different student partners from mostly Northern Europe, which would be Scandinavian countries. And in last years, there were also some events where I met guys from kind of different countries, and like more from South, like from Ireland, the UK, and in some cases also from former Yugoslavia republics. And there was also a funny thing when I was on my last trip with Eastech. I met also a couple of guys who also were student partners there, and it was kind of funny because this was last my event with Eastech was about Kinect development, and I met guys from Serbia who also was student partners, so we exchanged how we are doing things there and so on. So it's kind of very opens your mind to see how people in different parts of the world are working and living and so on. And as I said, it enables your connections. But still, I didn't mention a lot of words about studying. Why studying is important. I said things about all these extracurricular activities and not a word about studies. I myself didn't choose to study computer science because I thought that I was a pretty cool guy and I knew how to code and so on. So I decided that computer science studies would be sort of too boring for me. And I chose, I don't know, a couple of months before graduation. I saw this new program at Turkey Technical University. It was called Financial Engineering. And in the beginning I thought, oh, okay. So let's see, because I was checking only computer science faculty programs, and so it was under computer science faculty. So I opened it and checked out what was there. Computer science, cool, it's kind of nice, I know it. Economics, okay, it's natural, it's easy thing and so on, blah, blah, blah. And then a bit math. Okay, as I was graduating from school with strong math background, I thought, okay, it will be kind of no problem, I will survive math, but I was wrong. About that because it was a bit different math than I was used to. It was probability, statistics, and so on, and I started to really hate it. But yeah, the computer science part was easy and very natural, and the economics part was also it also felt very easy and natural after math. But the thing is that even in computer science part, where I felt it natural and it was sort of very easy and so on, I learned also a lot of new things. Because in university, they give you this knowledge in very compressed way, and they give you new insights in things where you can learn more. And it's very important to be open for learning, because I don't remember which guy said that, but one of the sayings is that the greatest fail in learning is not listening and not accepting new knowledge. Because even if you know the topic, it's mandatory for you actually to go and go to this topic lectures and so on and see what they tell. Because maybe if you know most things, but maybe you don't know these 5%, which makes a difference and makes you feel better after it. So it's very important to keep on that. And from my work experience, I was somehow a bad student, because I worked through all my student life and also through these extracurricular activities. And I worked as developer for, and now comes the part where I'm saying words which no one understands. which for company which supports and deploys ERP software, which is called Dynamics AX, formerly known as Axapta. And now I have a question. Does anyone know what ERP is? Okay, it's like 7 people. So ERP is an acronym for Enterprise Resource Planning. Does it make things clear? No. So most basic part I would say is kind of, because it's the thing which I used in my mind to say, but it's a bit wrong. It's to say it's a sort of accounting software. It's wrong because kind of this software is also capable of doing accounting, but it's doing much more than that. It's kind of, and it's it's software where you put all your business and your business processes inside, kind of, and where you register everything what your company employees are doing, and they need to register themselves because data needs to be kind of inputted where they are born and so on. And this is software which gathers all this information together, and then you, on top of that, you can provide a very kind of nice analytics and see your businesses as business more like as process. And in that sense, from kind of, and it's very necessary and mandatory actually for all companies to have such kind of software when you grow a bit bigger than, I don't know, 5 people, 7 people. Yeah, when you grow a bit bigger than 7 people, you actually need the software. And in perfect case, kind of, it also solves a lot of, I don't know, Latvian traditionally accounting problems, in the sense that a lot of accountants. And you don't need actually to do accounting, you know, because at my first year I learned also a bit accounting, and there's kind of books and there's these numbers when you can put for each transaction or operation. And in most cases your accountants don't actually need to do anything like that sort, because it's done automatically by software and so on. So it's kind of very, so this software actually kind of enables your business to be better and cooler in a sense. And and through that I worked there, and I did a lot of kind of customization to that software at my kind of first company. And there I was in that company also was Microsoft partner, so kind of I learned also from Microsoft from partner perspective how Microsoft interacts with its partners. And then 2 months ago I joined Microsoft as technical evangelist. Hiring process was a bit long, I would say, because for me, it began on 1st of January. I got the email saying, hi, we have this position open from a guy who was handling me as student partner, and maybe you want to apply. So, and in the end, it took like, I don't know, 3 months, because I began only in April, 3 months actually to get this job. And if I would be kind of unemployed graduate, I guess I would have died from starving doing that. Because it was a bit long process, and I had a bunch of interviews. Actually, all except last one were done with non-local people. And my first interview was with the human resource lady and Baltic general manager of Microsoft, and it was and they are both Estonians. Cool. And then my second interview was done with one of my bosses now in Microsoft, who is a British guy who is living in Munich, which is in Germany, and it was over Skype. And finally I got my last interview in Latvian language. It was cool. And after 3 months of process, I got my final interview in Latvian. With the Latvian GM, general manager. And so it was a bit long shot in sense. And as I was kind of working as Microsoft's partner, which is actually, in sense, it's very closely the same thing as being a technical evangelist, because you're basically being as an extension of technical evangelism, but in the student sense, in the student community, you're doing the same job actually. Only you are doing less management, more and field experience, in a sense. And I will come to that better later. And as Mike's student partner, I had a lot of opportunities. Maybe you can see these pictures here. There's pictures of events which I had attended, and the last one is one hackathon which we organized, and it was this picture was taken in Vilnius Hub, which is kind of co-working startup space. So student partners are also very we are actually urged to work with the startups and also these communities, because it's one of the places where tech people gather if they want to do, because they have a bit of entrepreneurship spirit in their hearts. And this big picture is actually of side event, which was not directly student partner events, but as I was in Microsoft Network, they offered me opportunity to go to some event for NGOs, which was, and this event was was driven to create a sort of network of NGOs which could use Microsoft as a tool how to achieve their goals. And it was happened in the last year. It was kind of innovate for good, because it was but it felt for me a bit weird because I'm a tech man, and when I heard a lot of this not technical people speaking about how to innovate and do things, I felt very weird, and it was it felt somehow unnatural. But we also had a couple of hackathons in Latvia. Last year we made one in Microsoft Office about Windows Phone 8 development, Phone 7 development, and we had about 70 attendees, which is a pretty cool number, I would say. And there were about 20 teams, and they developed some cool kind of code. And it was a funny thing was most of them actually didn't know how to code in C# or whatever kind of Microsoft language to say that, and they created some cool software there also, kind of from scratch, from zero background. And and as Microsoft student partners are extension of and the technical evangelist responsibilities are startups from Microsoft side, student engagement, technical more like, and also non-technical in the sense that we all are technical people nowadays, because you cannot be CEO which doesn't know how to do analytics or to analyze things about this company. Because of that, we also work with startups, as I said. And and now I get back to other opportunities which are important to use actually and to enable your technical skills while you are at university. I guess all technical universities, technical faculties of universities, computer science faculties, have Dreamspark Premium, which offers you ability to download all Microsoft software at no cost for students, and to use that. And please download more than Windows, or I don't know. In good cases, you download also Visio. Sometimes, if you are very advanced people, you sometimes start to download the Microsoft project. But a lot of people don't download programming software, SDKs, which is software development kits, or Visual Studio or something like that. I would encourage more you to develop on your own, because also through Dreamspark program has free taste, which is available to all students, whatever you are studying. You can download these development tools, and also you can get free developer accounts on all Microsoft stores, which means on Windows Phone, Windows 8 store, and you can publish your apps at no cost. It would cost for individual person this opportunity to about 30 lots, I would say. It's about 50 euros, something like that. So it's it's opportunity that you could use, and also you need to say to you clearly what you want from this. If you want to create an app, maybe I want to create an app so that I can get a job, because I can show something. Which is the market. And also, for if you have a bit of entrepreneurship spirit, you can apply for Microsoft Dreamspark program, which offers for 3 years free software and actually consulting services in some cases about maybe how to make your business and shape it. Maybe we can also give you some connections if you want to get with guys, because there is one company, maybe you know it, who creates infographics in Latvia, Infogram, and actually they're also in Dreamspark program, And I guess maybe because of that, Microsoft guys from Redmond contacted them and asked them, hey guys, maybe you want to create, I don't know, PowerPoint extension for using your software and so on. And that was done kind of from our Redmond guys part. And they worked closely together with them, and yeah, we will see if, kind of what fruits it has. But yeah, thing is that kind of it enables us as Microsoft as company to see your company in sense, and if you're doing great and creating great software and so on, we can come and help you, because without help from these Redmond guys, I guess for them it will be pretty challenging, and also for me to it will be pretty challenging to help them and to make this kind of what they're creating to make it succeed, because these guys have inside knowledge of products and also can provide help with hacks and so on, which is very necessary in some cases of software development, and to kind of overcome limitations of some programs and so on. Yeah, and yeah, and this is my last slide. So, do you have any questions to ask me? Yeah.
Basically, what you're saying that is, in order to become a Microsoft evangelist, you have to be a Microsoft student partner.
You need to be visible. Yes, yes. It's not necessary to be Microsoft student partner. You also can be Microsoft MVP, which is most valuable professional. And I know a lot of guys in Finland who actually became evangelists through as being MVPs before that. Yeah, very nice guys. It's in our case, I guess, with all companies, it's the best way how you can get job in these companies is to be visible by these companies in some sense. And, yeah, and also luck. Any more questions?
How much do you value Microsoft certifications?
Actually, I value them the most. Actually, quite a lot, because when I learned programming and C# after 10th grade in the summer, I took 1 month of reading this kind of book, how to pass certification of development introduction in C# .NET development or something like that. And after this month, when I had read this book and when I passed this certification, I lost magic. I lost magic in coding. Because before that, I thought there's some things which are happening in code or something there are kind of somehow magical. It's kind of you wrote something and there magic happens, and then something is happens in the kind of output part, or you see something which happened. But after that, I saw also that these kind of all these functions, SDKs, frameworks, and so on, they were the same code as my code. And I lost this magic, and I understand how they operate. I understood what was done in order for them to operate, and I lost this magic. So, in preliminary part, it's very important, and for you as a person to grow for development skills. But after that, I guess it becomes more important for your company, because from other side, as I know, companies are actually, which ones are Microsoft partners, are required actually to have a certain amount of specialists who have a certain amount of certifications in certain areas, so that they can keep their status and so on. And after a bunch of years, these certifications becomes not more like as a reminder of things, and also a bit this tiny pressure on you as developer to keep learning endlessly, so that you don't become stuck and don't become rusty. But yes, and then it comes from your management, because your company needs to have this amount of certifications, and after you are hired. Yeah.
When you started your studies at university, you had 6 years of coding experience. How did it affect your studies, this IT part? Well, didn't make it boring, or maybe make it more?
As I said earlier, I thought that it would make me totally boring, and in a sense it made it in some cases. But at least in first years, I was a very good student, in the sense that I tried to attend all lectures and so on. Actually, I also learned a lot of things which were sort of new to me, because there are some small nuances and these small things which adds up, and it's very nice actually to have this education also background, in the sense that it structures your knowledge and also gives you some new insights, because there are a lot of things about which I didn't knew that they existed, and you can do also like that, and so something like that is new insights. So in a sense it was boring, but it was also necessary, and I would say it's good for the good. But yeah, I still kind of got top grade. In some cases, not even so much level, but yeah. That's good, yeah. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Since you're the only person from Microsoft I have seen in the last couple of years,
Yeah.
not regarding the business part or the
Yeah.
student part, in your personal opinion, will the Xbox One be better than the PlayStation 4?
Yes. Because I don't know. I will speak now a bit unofficially. From leaked specifications of PlayStation 4, in a sense, hardware is pretty much the same. It's like, I don't know, maybe 5% better, but they don't have Kinect, which is pretty cool. And the new Kinect is even more cooler than the old one, because in new Kinect you can track more than 2 people, and also you have better resolution, it's faster and so on. So, and in that sense it's stronger opportunity for home users, because what we learned in the past, I would say, all of us, when we came out, we saw that there was a lot of people who wanted not only to play hardcore gaming on consoles and so on, but also to enjoy, doing some silly things with remote. And then we made the Kinect, which made it to do possible without any controllers. And in that sense, I would say Xbox One is stronger positions than PlayStation, more like in sense of like home entertainment system, in the sense for all family.
Just an additional question. Will there be anything, I saw you did a workshop for Windows 7, 8 development. Will you do anything similar for, let's say, people who want to develop games for the Xbox?
Maybe. It's tough to say, actually. It's hard to say, because I don't know if you all know, but there was a framework which was released on Microsoft Stack, and it's called XNA, which is XNA is not an acronym thing, and it's a development framework which was released for previous version of Xbox, and with that you were actually able to develop games which run both on PC, on phone, and also on Xbox. Microsoft haven't released a new version of this framework for this version right now, but usually is a release new version of XNA with each Xbox version. So we have to wait for that. And in the other sense, it's if you want not to be an indie developer to create somehow bigger games for Xbox, it would actually require that you sign some agreements with Microsoft and so on, and it's more like you need to go through some advanced business process to get there, and it can be hard and long. And and in that sense, it makes no sense to create such event for broader audience. But for general game development topics, you are actually all welcome to attend our hackathons, which enables also to create your games on, on Windows planchets, tablets, and on Windows devices. In all Windows devices. Because we also had a hackathon this spring about Windows 8 development, and now we will have, I guess, in autumn one more about Windows 8 and Windows Phone development. It will be somewhere in autumn.
And everybody is welcome,
yes,
regardless of their knowledge of.
I guess we will, before as a hackathon, we will make some training sessions or something like that, and everyone is welcome actually to attend them. And also, on the other hand, if you want to boost your skills, if you don't have any skills, you can go to websites, and we have extensive tutorials and materials how to develop things. And from my experience about knowledge level, in this Vilnius event, which we had, there was a guy who was 12 years old. He didn't have a lot of development experience. He was doing some PHP websites, and he didn't know what the JavaScript was actually. He didn't know JavaScript. He didn't know only PHP, which is a back-end programming language. But in the end, he managed to create on Windows 8 WinJS app. WinJS is Windows JavaScript, using JavaScript tools and framework on Windows 8, and he created his own app there. So I would say, and he used extensively mentor help on the event and so on, but he managed to make something lookable at and enjoyable in a sense. But so I would say, yeah, everyone is welcome.
Where do we find more info?
I guess in Microsoft Student Partner Facebook page, which is MSP Latvia, Facebook/MSP Latvia, or also you can follow Microsoft on Microsoft Latvia Facebook page, and there will be some posted info, and in that sense, and maybe we'll make also some press release or something like that, but I don't know if that reaches you. So yeah.
What if someone doesn't use Facebook? So
we also have Twitter account, MS Latvia, and in that sense, you can just come to me after this and give me your email. In worst case scenario, if you are very disconnected from all kinds of social networks and media, and you are not reading, technical media in Latvian, in worst case, you can go just to me and give me your email and say that you want to receive information about these events.
No more questions? Okay, I think then we can finish. Don't leave, wait. We still want to say a big thank you for your presentation. Wait.